dear children, good afternoon everyone, and once again welcome back you all to the online classes. So now we are discussing about the forests, our lifeline. Okay, and in the previous class we have discussed about the water and their importance and the management. So about that all we have discussed in our previous class, and now we can discuss about the forest. So how these forests are formed and also how much they are important. So the name itself will suggest that our lifeline, right? So we get many things from the forest, and also the forests are provided home and food and fodder from many animals, and some tribes of people are also living in the forest. So in this chapter we can discuss about how the forests are important. So before going to start, just we can begin with a small incident which was happened with Professor Ahmad, who was a scientist. So he was attended a silver jubilee celebration, and then he was very tired and he was sitting in the corner, and the students, they were playing here and there, and later they also sat around him and they wanted to listen what was happening in the celebrations and all. So he explained what all the things had happened there, and he was started explaining that the people who are there there in the celebration, they had discussed about building or constructing the factory by clearing a forest area. So by clearing some forest area, there they wanted to build a factory, and so that because the increasing population, as the population increases, the needs and the job necessity will be go on increasing. So if they build the factories by clearing the forest area, so that it would provide some jobs, some people who are jobless, so they can get the jobs. So by this idea, the people, they were discussed to build a factory, but many senior citizens, they are opposed to build the factory by clearing the forest. Okay, they can build in other places, but why to clear the forest to build the factories? So many other waste lands will be there, so they can build. So to get rid of this unemployment, that should also we have to get rid of that. But for providing the job for the unemployees, so building factory in the forest area is not necessary, right? We can build the we can build the factory, but we can build it in some other places where there is no people are living, or the areas where there is no forest, if it is the waste, so there we can construct the factories or any industries, we can do like that. So many were opposed. So when they are opposed, the students get confused. Why they opposed to build the factory? Because when they build the factory, many hundreds, thousands of people get the jobs. But for that, why they oppose? So that Professor Ahmed, he explained, these forests are become a green lungs, and also they act as the water purifying systems. So these forests are the green lungs, and also they are the water purifying systems. Water purifying systems. See, why we call this as the water purifying systems and green lungs, I will tell you. We all know that the plants prepare the food by the process of photosynthesis. oxygen is very useful for us because for the process of respiration. So then only when the respiration process takes place, then only the chemical energy in the food will be converted into the muscular energy. So that the oxygen is very important for us, and that oxygen is released by the plants during the photosynthesis process. And so we call these as the green lungs. The forests, they are called as the green lungs because the forests are not having only one or two trees. Only the countable numbers of trees are not there here. It is the vast area with number of trees and different kinds of trees. So that we call this as the lungs, the green lungs. And also the water purifying systems. So how it purifies the water? So see, the plants, they will get the water, they absorb the water from the soil, and later the water which is absorbed by the plant, all the water will not be used by the plants for the photosynthesis process. But some amount, the excess of amount is also present in the water. So many a times this water may contaminate it. But by the process of transpiration, so the excess amount of water which is present, so that will get evaporated from the plant parts. The excess amount of water which is present in the plant body, so that is lost by the process of transpiration. And when the transpiration process takes place, the water, the excess water which is present in the plant parts, so that will be converted into vapors, the water vapors, and that will be present in the air, in the atmosphere. And again, these water vapors are helpful in the formation of clouds, as well as the clouds. When the clouds are formed, they will bring the rain. So that the rainwater means it is the clear water. So these are act as the water purifying systems, right? So that the many senior citizens who are aware about this, they have decided not to build the factory by clearing the forest area. And then he also said that the students, they were not visited the forest, so that they got the confusion. So once if we visit the forest, we can understand how our forests are useful. So now we can discuss on one fine day, on one fine Sunday, they have arranged the forest visit also. Now what are their experience when they have visited the forest, the experience, what experience they have got from that. So that we can discuss now. So now we can discuss about the visit to a forest. Visit to a forest. So there are many forests are there. We can also plan and we can also visit a forest. And to identify the different types of plants, you can take the help of the elders who are there with you, or else you can take the help of the books. There are many books on trees, so you can take the help of that also to identify different types of trees. when they visited the forest, so they see many different kinds of plants and many different kinds of animals also as well. So when they visited, so the monkeys, they hear the birds, so the sound of the birds. Yes, they are the birds are whispering and all. So they had listened the sound of that, and also even some animals, the monkeys and all. So they disturb the birds because when the people visit to the forest, so the animals, they will make some signals to other animals because they are quite gay. So if any people are not entering into the forest, so they will be means that is their habitat. We have learned in the 6th standard. So the forest is the vast, that is also the terrestrial habitat. So this is the one of the we can say that the large habitat. Okay, because there many different varieties of trees will be there, as well as the varieties of animals. We can see many different kinds of animals. So there we can see, so that we can say that the forest is the large terrestrial habitat. So many animals are living there, and we can see the boar, bison, jackal, porcupine, and even elephant. Some of the animals which are there deeper inside the forest, and many were there only. So there they can find all the animals, and so even we can get many useful products also by the forest. See many trees we can see, such as the sesame and sable and khai, so kuchnar, and also the neem and bamboo, amla, teak, sal, palash, fig. So such kind of many trees we can find here, and then we can get many products also. Yes, from the forest we get many products. So we can get the sealing wax, and we can get wood for the fuels, as well as the furnitures, and we can see many furnitures and boxes, and the gum is the forest. In the forest we can, and also by using the wood, many statues we can do, and also likewise we use many things from the forest. Not only these, and even some herbs and shrubs also there. Many medicines we can get. Yes, and these forests provide the food and fodder for many animals in the forest. So these are all present in the forest. And see, when these many herbs and shrubs they are there in that. So forest, it is like how when we look from the some of the higher regions, we cannot able to see the ground. So these forests, they are covered like it looks like the roof covered over the ground. It's the green means we can see every plants are not having completely green, but unevenly we can see. But the forest, it looks like the green covering on the ground. So when we see from the higher regions, we are not able to see the ground of the forest. So like that it was spread in that area, and we can get many products. I said already, the many wood as a fuel we can get, or for furnitures we can get. Okay, and many articles are made by the wood and the boxes. So likewise, many things we can get from the forest, and even the gums, sealing wax. Okay, likewise, and some medicinal plants are also there. So they are also present, and many different varieties of animals. And all the forests, they are not having the same kind of animals, because that is also again depending on the climatic conditions. So different climatic conditions support, means they provide the different animals are there. So they are adapted to different climatic conditions. And also in all the forests we are not able to find the same kind of trees. That is also depending on the climatic conditions. The trees also differ from one place to another place. Right. So the one girl, like Sheila, she was asked, she was just observing all the plants and everything. So she just asked the decomposers. So these are the organisms, they will feed on this dead and decaying matter of all these. Okay, even herbivores, the plant, even plant products also. So after when the plant parts or some dead parts of the plant or the leaves of the plant, so when the plant shed their leaves, so these all the waste from all these animals, they on that all waste these decomposers will feed, like the slugs, snails and there only they can start growing. So when they have started growing, the seeds they can be dispersed. The lightweight seeds will be there. So and thorny seeds will be there. So they are carried by the animals and from any other way by the natural agents. So they will disperse, and again when they get the sufficient amount of nutrients, they will start growing in that place. So that is how the forests are become that much thicker. And we can see many different kinds of plants there. So there, see, if you observe the forest, so you might have observed many kinds there. So now I will show you here. So the different kinds of plants. So some plants, so they are of different shapes. Okay. They may be like this, or the different plants, they are short, right? And some they may be somewhat bigger than that, okay, larger in size. And some their branches are spread like this, okay. So likewise, different kinds of plants we can see there. So the branching part of the trees. So this is the stem, and this is the branching part from here. So when the branches started growing or bearing, so that we call as the branching part. So this branching part of any tree, it is called as the crown. Yes, the branching part. So from here, the branch of the leaves, they are started growing. So that branching part of the trees, that is called as the crown. And the canopy. Okay. So these different all the plants are there in the forest in the same area. So when we observe these plants, so it looks like the tall trees, the branches of the tall trees will be covered the smaller one or cover the ground. So it looks like that, and that we call as the canopy. Yes, the canopy. So many large trees are also there, and many small trees are also there. Tall trees as well as the small trees. So they looks like they cover the plants. The trees are cover the other. So likewise we can see that we call as the canopy. And also in the forest, many herbs, shrubs, trees, the tall trees, small trees, many kinds of plants are there, and even some grasses also. So these all looks like the layers of the plants. It is just look like a layers of plants. It appears like the plants are there in the layers. So that we call as the understory. Okay. So just it is given in your textbook. I will show you. So see, this is the canopy. See, this is the canopy. So here some tall trees, it looks like they are spreading like a roof over the other plants. And see the understory. So here many different, the grasses also there, and some herbs, shrubs, and small trees and tall trees. So they all are just like forming a layers here. So just they look like forming a layers, and this we call as the understory. Okay. So in different kinds of forest, we see the different types of plants. Already I explained you. This is depending on the climatic condition, and in all the forest we are not able to see or observe the same kind of plants or the same kind of animals, and these differ in the plants and animals. That is depending on the kind of, means the climatic condition. So many forests are there in the we can observe. So you can identify those different plants with the help of any elders, or many books are there on the trees. So by that you can observe, or you can identify the name of those plants and all. Okay. And see, in the plants, in the forest, I said the plants are grown by the dispersal of seeds. Then how they get the nutrients to grow? So for the growth of plant, they need the nutrients. And who will provide all the nutrients to the plants which are living in the forest? So anybody are going and anybody are providing the fertilizers or any organic manure for them? No. Then how they will grow in that much greenery? How can we observe that much greenery in the forest? So see, in forest nothing is waste. So everything is useful in the forest. Everything. The the plant products as well as the animals. So every organism which are there in the forest, they are all useful ones. So see, we can see if there are number of plants are present means they leave the sheds. So they shed the leaves. The leaves of the plants will be shed continuously, and many other parts of the plant, and many animals will die and they undergo decaying, right? When the plants shed the leaves, so they will be fall on the ground, and when the animals die, so they will be undergo decaying by many microorganisms, and many decomposers are there. They feed on those dead and decaying matter, and they convert that into the manure, so animal waste as well as the plant waste. So they both will be converted into manure by the different organisms, say some worms and snails and some other organisms. So we can call as the decomposers. So by the action of all those, all the plant and animal waste that will be decomposed and converted into manure. And these manure provides nutrients for the plants. So this is how everything is useful in the forest. And even I have explained, we are also getting many things. We get the medicines, we get many wood for the fuel purpose as well as for the furniture. And also we made many boxes, and we can get the sealing wax, we can get the gum, and we can get spices. We get many things from the forest. So likewise, everything in the forest is useful only. Nothing is waste there. Everything is useful. And if you go on the floor of the forest, so all the leaves will be shed and they all deposited one over the other, and many things will be decomposed there. So it just look, when you are walking on the floor of the forest, you just feel like you are walking on a sponge. Yes, the sponge is very smooth, you know. So you feel like we are walking on the sponge. So like that, because the leaves are depositing on one on the other, so that we feel like that. So forest means the thick forest, they shed the leaves in the large quantity. So we feel like we are walking on the sponge. And also, if we dig some ground, it looks warm, and so that to observe this, you can in your garden you can make your own ditch and you put some leaves, and after 2 to 3 days you can just observe, then the temperature will be rises. So this is due to some microorganisms will be there and they respire, so they decompose. It's the decomposers, what we can say. So they will be helping the decomposition of all the organic matter. So there the respiration process takes place. So when they release some gases into the environment, so there the temperature rises. So likewise, in the forest you can contact me and clarify your doubts.